Good morning, children. So, in today's class, we are going to revise about the plants, that is, knowing about plants. We have already known about the topic, I have already dealt with. Once again, we revise it. Okay, children? So, in this lesson, we have studied about the parts of the plant, their functions, and each and every part of the plant, and we have studied about how to observe these parts under the microscope, and their functions also we have done about them through experimentation. Okay, so that's again we'll be recalling them and revising them. So what are the different parts of the plant? We know that our surrounding consists of different varieties of plants, both flowering and non-flowering plants. In that, parts of the plant are, as you know well, it starts with the seeds, roots, isn't it? Root, stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Fruits contain seeds, and seeds in turn give rise to the new plant again through germination, isn't it? And seed, it encloses the leaves within, forming monocotyledons and dicotyledons, isn't it? So the two leaves that emerge out from the seed coat, they form the cotyledons. If the seed coat contains a single cotyledon, then they are called as monocotyledons, and if they contain the plants with the seeds containing the two cotyledons, the seeds of containing two cotyledons, then it is called as, they are called as dicotyledons, so dicots. Okay, so in this manner you have studied about the parts of the plant. Here the functions of root, stem, leaves, flowers and fruits. So root, the functions of root are fixation and absorption. Fixation and absorption. These are the functions of the root of the plant. What is fixation? Root fixes the plant firmly in the soil. It helps to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil. That is the main function of the root of the plant. Coming to stem. Stem, it helps to conduct the water that is absorbed by the root to the various parts of the plant and again back to the root for development of the plant. So the food prepared by the leaves is in turn brought back to the roots for the development of the plant. This is the way in which the stem conducts the food material to the plant. So conduction is the function of the stem. And stem also supports or bears all the other parts of the plant like leaves, fruits, flowers, etc. Coming to the leaves. Functions of the leaves are photosynthesis, respiration and transpiration. What are the three functions of the leaves? Photosynthesis, respiration and transpiration. These are the three functions of the leaves that we have studied. What is photosynthesis? Plants take in carbon dioxide from the air, light from the sun, water and mineral salts from the soil and prepare its own food in the presence of chlorophyll. Leaves are green in color due to the green color pigment called chlorophyll, with which it can prepare its own food. So the process of preparing food material by the plant by themselves is called as photosynthesis. Coming to the respiration, it is the exchange of gases that takes place in the plants through stomata. Stomata are the organs present in the leaves which help for photosynthesis, respiration and also transpiration. Transpiration means removal of excess water from the plant body. It is called as transpiration. Okay, children? Now, so coming to the leaves, flowers. Flowers are the attractive parts of the plant. They help in pollination. That means for the production of new plants again, with which you will be learning about the pollination and fertilization in the higher classes. That is in the coming 7th standard. Okay children? And next, mainly these different types, the flowers contain different petals, isn't it? Different colors of petals, different colored petals. They attract the insects for pollination. And coming to the fruits, flowers are developed into fruits. Fruits contain the seeds, and seeds are in turn responsible for the development of new plants. So these are the different parts of the plants and their functions. Flowers, they are attractive parts. They attract insects. Functions is attract insects for pollination. So easily you can write down, with which they can contain the petals. Fruits, flowers. Fruits are developed from flowers. Developed from flowers. And they contain seeds. Fruits contain seeds, which gives rise to the new plant again. So this you can understand pictorially that the plant consists of root system and shoot system. So what is the root system and what is the shoot system? This is the soil. Root system lies below the soil. So this is the root. You have to draw and show it with a neat diagram. So parts of the plant, how to show the help of a neat diagram. See here children, so these are the roots. This is the root of the plant. It lies below the soil. This is the shoot of the plant. This is the shoot of the plant. These are branches and these are the leaves. You can easily draw it and label these parts also. Mention the parts of the plant neatly and write the functions of each part of the plant. Okay, so that gives you complete answer, so that you can gain 8 marks also. The question you get for 8 marks too. So prepare that. This is stem of the plant which lies above the soil, and these are leaves of the plant, and you can see the further leaves. You can see the flower, and next it also contains the fruit. So it contains the fruit of the plant. So these are the different parts of the plant: root, stem, leaves, flower and fruit. Roots, once again I repeat, they help for fixation and absorption of water and mineral salts from the soil. Stem, this bear all the other parts of the plant like leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. And they help in conduction and support. The stem conducts water and mineral salts that is absorbed by the root and supplies to the various parts of the plant. And in turn they supply the prepared food by the leaves to the roots and help for the growth of the plant. That is the function of the stem. And next, coming to the leaves. Leaves perform 3 functions mainly through the stomata that are present on the leaves. Stomata are the very tiny pores that are present on the leaves, which helps for respiration, photosynthesis and transpiration. Okay, so that is the function of the leaves. What is photosynthesis? Preparation of food by the leaves is called as photosynthesis. Plants, especially green plants, prepare their own food. They prepare food by taking water and mineral salts from the soil, air from the atmosphere and light from the sun, and prepare its own food. So in the presence of chlorophyll, that is green pigment present on the leaves, is called the chlorophyll. So these are the main functions of the leaves. Coming to the flowers. Flowers contain petals. The green parts are sepals, and the different colored parts over the flower, they are the petals, which are very attractive in nature, and they attract the insects for pollination. So that is about the flower of the flower. Different plants have different types of flowers, and different flowers attract the insects for pollination. And next, what is pollination and what is fertilization? You will be learning in 7th class. That is there is a transfer of pollen grains from the anther to stigma of the flower, where the which involved with the fertilization process to give rise to a seed formation, through which the seeds in turn gives rise to the new plant again. Here, flowers are developed into fruits, and fruits contain the seeds in them, and seeds gives rise to the new plant. So this is about the parts of the plant. Hope you have understood this, children. Now, coming to the parts of the leaf. Parts of the leaf. So, if you take this leaf, you can see the leaf attached to the stem, isn't it? Yes. This is the leaf. This expanded portion of the leaf, completely this portion, it is called as lamina. What is it called, children? Lamina. The part of the leaf where it arises over the stem, this is called as leaf base. It is called as leaf base. And the stalk of the leaf, it is called as the petiole. What is it called? Petiole. So, these are the three main parts of the leaf. What are the three main parts of the leaf? Leaf base, petiole, lamina. Leaf base is the part of the leaf which attaches itself to the stem, and the stalk of the leaf is called as petiole. The expanded portion of the leaf, the flat portion of the leaf, is called as lamina. And this lamina consists of a long vein present in the center of the leaf. It is called as midrib. What is it called, children? The long vein present in the center of the lamina is called as midrib. Okay, and all the smaller veins that are arising over the midrib, these are called as veinlets. Veins and veinlets. This is midrib. These are veins and these are veinlets. So these are veins and these are veinlets. Midrib, veins, veinlets. Hope you have understood the parts of the leaf, children. So these are the parts of the leaf consist of leaf base, petiole, lamina, and the lamina consists of midrib, veins and veinlets. Okay, children. Now, I'll tell you how the veins are arranged in the leaf. Before entering into this topic, you should know the types of root system. So, what are the different types of root system? Types of root system. We have studied about taproot system and fibrous root system, isn't it? There are two types of root system. They are taproot system, number 1, and number 2 is fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. Okay, taproot system. First, I'll draw and show you, and it will be easier for you to identify too. So, taproot system, always you know that root lies below the soil. So, this is the base of the soil, and this is the root, main root in the taproot. This is the main root. It consists of the lateral roots, and these are rootlets. Okay, children. So you can easily draw the taproot. So where do you find the taproot systems? This is the taproot or main root. It is also called as main root. And the main root consists of lateral roots and rootlets. These are the rootlets. So plants absorb the water through these roots. Okay, mineral salts and water through these roots. So this taproot system is present in the plants with reticulate, the leaves with reticulate venation. So what is, how this root system is related to the venation, and what is this venation? Now I am going to tell you. So, and you should know, before entering into that part, you should know the types of root system. As I told you about the taproot system, it has main root. And what is about the fibrous root system? Fibrous root system means it can all or lateral roots. In fibrous root system, you find all or lateral roots. Roots always lie below the soil. All the roots arise from the base of the stem, starting from a single point. All are lateral roots here and rootlets. These all are lateral roots. Okay children, all are lateral roots. So mostly you find this type of root system in the grass. Okay, so how can you identify that these roots are present for grass and this type of root system is present in some other plants and so. So how can you identify without plucking out from the soil, how can you identify that particular plant contains a particular type of root system? For this, a simple thing is that for the taproot system, you can see that the type of venation, that is the arrangement of veins and veinlets. These are the veins and veinlets. They are in the form of network like this. This type of network-like arrangement of the venation in the leaf is found in the plants with the taproot system. Okay children, if the plants have the leaves with reticulate venation, that network-like arrangement of the veins is absorbed in the leaves, you can say that these plants have taproot system. If the leaves of the grass, if you observe, you can see the veins are arranged parallelly in the leaf lamina. The veins are arranged parallelly in the leaf lamina. So if you see like this, the leaf blade of grass, you can see the parallel arrangement of the veins like this. So this is the parallel venation and this is reticulate venation. So parallel venation is seen in the plants with fibrous root system and reticulate venation is seen in the leaves of the plant with taproot system. Parallel venation is seen in the leaves of the plant with fibrous root system. Reticulate venation is seen in the leaves of the plant with the root system as taproot system. Okay, so this is how the taproot system and venation is related. So not root system and venation is related. Taproot, if the plants have taproot system, then the veins in the leaves are reticulate. If the venation is reticulate. If the plants have fibrous root system, then the venation of the plant is parallel venation. So now you have an idea about the types of venation and what is venation. So now you can say, I hope so. What is venation, children? The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the leaf lamina is called as venation. What is venation? The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the leaf lamina is called as venation. How many types of venation are there? Two types. What are they? Reticulate venation And number 2 it is parallel venation. Parallel venation. Where do you find reticulate venation? We find reticulate venation in the dicots plants. That is the seeds which are enclosed with two cotyledons. We find reticulate venation. We can find the parallel venation in the plants with with the seeds enclosed with the single cotyledon, that is monocot plants. We can see the parallel venation in all the monocots, and we can see the reticulate venation in all the dicots. That is the simple examples that we can see for the parallel venation and reticulate venation and the types of the root system that is followed. Okay, so in both dicots and monocots, the dicot you can find reticulate venation, and in parallel venation we find that is the parallel venation is found in monocots. So you say that dicots have taproot system and monocots have parallel, that is a fibrous root system. So these are venation and root system are related in such a manner. Okay, so if the leaves contain reticulate venation, then the roots are taproots. If the leaves are parallel venation, then the roots are fibrous roots. So this is the simple judgment that we can easily judge the type of the root system and depending upon the type of the venation. Hope you have understood this topic, children. Now I will tell you what is stomata and how can you observe the stomata under the microscope. Stomata. This is a simple topic. Stomata are the tiny pores present on the epidermal layers of the leaf. Okay, epidermis of the leaf. They are the tiny pores present on the leaf. Tiny, which cannot be seen with our naked eye. They can only be seen with the help of microscope. We can see them only with the help of microscope. Only through microscope. So what is microscope? Microscope is an instrument to see the minute microscopic organisms. Microscope is an instrument through which we can see minute microscopic organisms which we cannot see through our naked eye. Okay, so here these tiny stomata are the tiny pores which are present on the leaves which we can see only with the help of microscope. So what is the structure of stomata? I will show you the structure of stomata, children. So stomata are bean-shaped in nature. Stomata are bean-shaped in nature. So these you can easily draw this. Okay, children. So try to draw the structure of the stomata in your notebooks neatly. Here. Yes. This is the structure of the stomata. This center part, this is the stomatal pore. Stomatal pore. The bean-shaped part, these are guard cells. Note down the parts of the stomata, children. And these are chloroplast. They contain green colored pigment called chlorophyll, through which the leaves are green in color. Is it clear, children? So this is the structure of the stomata. Note down. So here this is the stomata, children, and it performs three functions. These are the tiny pores present in the leaves which performs the mainly preparation of food, exchange of gases and removal of excess water from the plant. These are the functions performed by the stomata. So how does this stomata is that is observed, that is stomata observation under the microscope? For this you have to you have to peel a thin layer of the leaf and keep it on the slide. Keep it on the slide. Then covers it with a cover slip. After adding a drop of water over it, you cover it with the cover slip. Place it on the stage of the microscope and observe under the microscope. When you observe under the microscope, you find the bean-shaped structure of the stomatal pore. That is, it acts like the nose of the leaf. Is it clear? So, like our nose, it acts for the leaf, which helps for respiration. And also, they take the food material. That is, they help for the preparation of food for the plant. So, how do they prepare the food material? For that, you have to know the absorption of water and mineral salts by the roots, isn't it? Water absorbed, you know very well that water is absorbed by the roots, and the nutrients that is absorbed by the water through the roots is transmitted through the stem to the leaves, and leaves in turn prepare the food for the plant and in turn supplies to all the other parts of the plant and helps for the growth of the plant. This is how the stomata performs the functions of photosynthesis, that is preparation of food for the plant and exchange of gases. This also takes place through these minute pores called stomata, that is respiration is a process done by the stomata. Plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, you know very well. And then transpiration. What is transpiration? Removal of excess water from the plant body is called as transpiration. So how does this transpiration process takes place? I will tell you now. Transpiration is a process where the plants release excess water from its body. For this, you have to take a plant which is kept in sunlight. So take a green plant which is kept in sunlight and cover this with a polythene cover. Okay. Cover this with a polythene cover and keep it in a sunlight for a few hours. Then take another polythene cover and tie its edge. Also tie its edge to the cover here and tie its edge over here, but no plant is kept here. Both are kept in the sunlight for a few hours. After a few hours, you observe that you can find tiny droplets of water inside the polythene cover that is placed over the green plant. It proves that excess water present in the leaves is released through the stomatal pores present in the leaves outside, which are seen as a tiny droplets of water over the polythene cover. This is called as transpiration. Hope you have observed, and in your surroundings also, if you do this experiment, you can easily observe this tiny droplets of water released over the green plants. Okay, children? So this is about the transpiration. Next, about the absorption of water by the roots. Roots absorb water and mineral salts from the soil, you know it. If you keep a carrot or beetroot or turnip, anything in a place, cut it and keep in a colored water, you can see after some time that the colored water has been absorbed by the root. If you cut it and you keep it in the colored water, and after some time you cut it and see, you can see that the colored water is absorbed by the root inside, which proves that root absorb water and mineral salts. Okay, so that is a simple experiment with which you can prove that roots also absorb water and mineral salts. In the similar pattern, you can see the stems, conduction of water and mineral salts by the stem. For this, if you take a tender plant and that is the stem and place it in a colored water and absorb, after some time, you can see on the stem the colored water is being absorbed. Okay, so tiny spots of colored spots you can observe over the stem, which proves the conduction of water by the stem. Conduction of water by stem. Is it clear, children? So now you have understood the different parts of the plant, functions of different parts of the plant, that is roots, stem, leaves and flowers. As you very well know that flowers are the attractive parts of the plant which attracts insects for pollination. And also you know about the different that is parts that are present over the leaves, that is stomata, which performs the functions of photosynthesis, respiration and transpiration. Most plants around us have the root, stem, leaves, flowers, and all parts of the plant carry out some functions and essential for the whole plant. So there are diverse forms of plants in nature, and plants adapt themselves to different conditions in nature in different ways. We cannot say that all plants can adopt the same nature, they are different. For example, while stems usually support the plant body, in some plants they adapt that they store the food. We also know that the stems and roots also perform additional function of storage. Roots and stem also perform the additional function, that is storage. Okay, like tuberous roots like carrot, beetroot, radish, turnip all store the food in the food in it. So they have additional function of storage of food. Stems like that is potato. If you take the potato, garlic, turmeric, ginger, sugarcane, they store the food in their stem. So they perform the function of storage. So the flower is, as you know very well, it is an important part of the plant which participate in in pollination process. They attract insects for pollination and produces the fruits. So we grow the plants for colorful flowers which gives the beauty to nature. So that is how can we appreciate the nature, means the beauty of the nature is present with the full blossoming of plants with flowers, isn't it? The plants blossom with the flowers. So we will learn about the flowers, how they are helpful for us in the developing of the new plants, etc. in our next class, that is in coming 7th standard. Okay, and next, do you know about the Puttikalu children? So they are the traditional food of Konasima of Godavari district, and leaves of jackfruit are taken and they are prepared, used in this preparation. That is, you will be taking a dosa idli batter and putting this batter in this cups prepared through this jackfruit leaves, and they are being steamed up, and you get the food, that idlis that are prepared in these leaves give the flavor of the jackfruit. Okay, so they make cups with these leaves and fill them with the batter made of the black gram and rice, that is for idli, rice rava, idli rava. These cups are steamed to get the Puttikalu. They can be taken with any chutney, that is like idli. Okay, so they are healthy and delicious food because they are prepared by steaming process. You know very well that the steaming the items that are cooked with the steaming are very good for health, and then they give you the flavor of the. So with this we have completed the lesson. Thank you children. In the next class I will continue the next lesson revision.